Okay, we're gonna try something a little bit different here. We're actually gonna take a legit recipe from Kenji Lopez-alt and see if just a simple cook in a kitchen can make this happen. So we're gonna borrow his Chinese American Kung Pao chicken recipe and try to do this at home right now. All right, welcome to Kitchen Captain. I'm Ian Walsh, and today we're dropping into one of the takeout kings, Chinese American Kung Pao chicken. And we're gonna follow a recipe from kitchen wizard Kenji Lopez-alt. I'm a big fan of his, and you can find all of his content on YouTube or Instagram. Let's go. This is probably about a pound. It's one little floppy breast. So we're gonna trim this up and make about 3/4 inch pieces. So we're gonna take our chicken slices, and now we're gonna make a marinade. Wait. Okay, now we're gonna take our chicken and combine everything we need for this to soak for about 20 minutes while we prep all our veggies and everything else for the stir fry. 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. What are the odds I grab that one first? 1/4 TSP white pepper. This is about 3/4 of a bottle used, and I have no idea what I've ever used this for. 1 teaspoon dark soy sauce. 1 teaspoon Chinese cooking wine. You can get this at any Asian market, and if they don't have it, you can use sherry in its place. I don't ever have sherry in my kitchen, but I was able to find that. 1/2 teaspoon sugar. Hopefully that doesn't change the flavor of our sugar here, because I did just dip this into white pepper and then dipped it into the sugar bag. But who's counting? 1/2 teaspoon roasted sesame oil. We have toasted sesame oil. I don't know if there's a difference between roasted and toasted, but we're gonna use toasted sesame oil. Our last little ingredient here is 1/2 teaspoon of cornstarch. Yep, got everything. Okay, now let's get nasty and mix this together. Get it all mixed up and let it soak for about 20 minutes while we prep everything else. Time to get acquainted with this sauce. I think when you're stir frying, you kind of want to have everything prepped and ready, because once that wok is hot, you don't want to be dancing around cutting stuff. You want to be able to cook everything really fast, especially if you're hungry. Okay, now we're gonna make our sauce for the stir fry, and we're gonna start with 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce. So that's TBSP, not TSP. Tablespoon of, how do you even say it? Tablespoon of Shaoxing wine, spelled SHAOXING, wine. And if you don't have that, I guess the substitute is sherry. Much easier to say. 1 tablespoon of just good old-fashioned distilled white vinegar. Don't worry, that thing's not falling all the way in. 2 tablespoons chicken stock. Back to our sugar. I'm gonna eyeball that one. 1 TSP of toasted sesame oil. Again, their recipe calls for roasted, but we have toasted. And our last ingredient, 2 teaspoons cornstarch. God damn it. And that is, I'm gonna read it, now it's all oily. That's 1/4, so I'm about 1/2 teaspoon in. We're just gonna eyeball this. Okay, that's gotta be about 1/2 teaspoon, or 2 teaspoons cornstarch. It's about right. This little measuring spoon I dropped in there is about as slippery as it's like it only landed in the toasted sesame oil. Sauce is good. Now we get into our cutting. From what I've read, peeling ginger with a spoon is the move. Okay, the spoon worked for a few strokes. Let's try a peeler, and yeah. I don't know why the hell you would choose to peel anything with a spoon when you have the option of a peeler. Okay, another good kitchen tool is a dough scraper or a dough cutter, and it's so much easier than using a knife, scooping in and maybe chopping half your palm off. These things are kind of clutch. Even if you don't play with dough, it's good to have in the kitchen. Now we're gonna mince about 2 teaspoons of this ginger, and not sure if mincing means grating it or dicing it up real small. And we're gonna do the same damn thing with some garlic cloves. Try to make as big of a mess as you possibly can. Okay, now we're gonna take 8 arboral chilies and just do a rough chop. These things will sneak up on you, spice-wise. And we can put all our aromatics into one bowl, onto the bulk of this. We're gonna start with a red bell pepper, same damn thing with a green bell pepper. And we're gonna aim for kind of uniform sizes to these slices so they kind of cook at the same speed. This thing's like an excavator in the kitchen. 2 strands of celery, 1 whole scallion. Kind of went with a little bit bigger chops on the scallion. Is that it? Okay, now high heat on this wok. Gonna add a tiny bit of oil, and as soon as that starts smoking, in goes the rest of the oil, then the chicken. Smoke is billowing out of our wok. Now we're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of canola oil. Get that thing swirled around without swirling it onto your feet or hands. We're gonna start with the chicken. After you get that initial stir fry going, spread the chicken out into a single layer and let it sit for about a minute, letting those things cook. Then flop those little things over and do another 1 to 2 minutes till they're kind of crisp and charred on the outside but not cooked all the way through. Okay, now we're gonna take our chicken out into our spinning bowl here. A couple tablespoons of oil back into our wok. Start with our aromatics, ginger, garlic, arboral chilies. In goes our veggies. I definitely messed up a step in Kenji's recipe here. Supposed to, these chilies are lighting me up. We're supposed to do the bell peppers and the celery first and spread those veggies out to the wall of the wok and then put our aromatics in, which is the garlic, chili, ginger, and the scallion. Kind of jumped the gun and put some of those in first, but our wok's hot and we gotta make do. Next up, we got our peanuts. It's so spicy. That chili is rocking me. I feel like I'm just sniffing chili. These are just dry roasted, unsalted peanuts. You can get them in any grocery store. Chicken goes back in. We're gonna take our delicious Kung Pao sauce, give it a mix so our cornstarch isn't just a stagnant beast in there, and add that in. Starting to look like Kung Pao chicken, isn't it? Definitely smells like it. And I think we'll wanna just mix this until the sauce is kind of at the consistency we want. As it cooks, it'll thicken that sauce up a little bit. Okay, this is done. Okay, got our Chinese-American Kung Pao chicken, compliments of Kenji lopez-alt. And the goal for this was to take a recipe from a wizard of a chef and make this at home, not being a chef. So let's see how we did. If I can get these goddamn chopsticks in my hand. There we go. Let's try her out. That's really good. Even though the chilies seem to just smoke my nasal cavities while we were cooking this, it's not too spicy. And I have to be honest, I was a little skeptical on the sauce to chicken and veggie ratio. I was like, is this enough sauce to really make this thing saucy and good? And it is. So there you have it, Kung Pao chicken that we proved pretty much anyone can make it. Delicious, easy weeknight meal, there you go, boom.